Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. It's actually almost 4 a.m. I am running late this morning. Let me fill you in really quick before I get into the video. This is the busiest time of year for me as an artist. I have the fair season coming up where I put my paintings in for a competition, and I'll sell my paintings at local fairs like the Goshen, Connecticut Fair, Bethlehem Fair, all the fairs here in Connecticut. I've won. Here's some. I guess actually got some of the ribbons. First place, second place, best in show. These are all from the different fairs. Yeah, second place, Harwington Fair. I got a ton of them here. So this is the busiest time of year for me, and then Christmas coming up. People start asking me to do paintings for gifts and stuff like that. So I've set up a schedule for myself if I'm going to get all these paintings done. And I'm about 2 days late. So I'm running late this morning. I'm trying to keep everything on schedule. I got kind of a quick video. I came across, there's a man on Twitter called Ron Filipkowski. If you're into, if you're a liberal, progressive Democrat, if you like both the fifth column, I'm sure you probably heard of Ron Filipkowski. I didn't realize, I was reading his, I'll put the link down below. I didn't realize that he was a former Republican. He worked for Ron DeSantis before, and he just totally, since this whole MAGA thing, he kind of, he's a Democrat now, and he's on Twitter exposing the whole MAGA Trump thing and the ridiculousness of it all, and he's always putting clips on his Twitter. I don't really like Twitter. This is one of the few people that I go to Twitter to look at. I came across an interesting clip from his Twitter page, site, whatever you want to call it, and it made me think this morning about the saying that ultimate power corrupts absolutely. The clip is down below. This is from the Trump rally just in Pennsylvania just last weekend. And there's this big hulking guy. Like I said, you can watch this down below. And it really made me think. It made me nervous, scared really, for what's coming up in 2024. Let me tell you about the clip. It's an uncomfortable clip to watch. This guy, he is so programmed to distrust news and media, the lying news and lying media, that he almost looks like he wants to, he's looking for a fight. He's looking, and the woman interviewing him is from Rumble. The woman interviewing him is a, ultimate Trump supporter, and he's so revved up that, when anybody puts a microphone near him, he thinks news media, and it makes this whole thing uncomfortable. But she asked him, what do you watch? And all he says, this is just, you got to watch the clip. He just goes, Q. And that's it. And he's a big hulking guy. And, you could picture this guy at the January 6th thing. And he's wearing all red, white, and blue. Everything USA from top to bottom. Big USA. So she asked him what he watches. What kind of news? You watch local news? Because local news isn't really political. I watch local news every morning, so I know what's going on around in my city. Where there's construction, the weather, stuff you need to live. This guy just says, the only place he gets his news is Q. He goes, Q. And then she just goes, cool. And then he just goes, Q. You got to see this video. And he says, he doesn't trust the lying. It's the only place he gets his information from. News, the news, the media, they all lie. And then he could tell he doesn't. She asked him, well, do you know much of, she asked him to explain who Q is, or do you know much about Q? Do you know who Q is? That's what she asked him. And he's like, no. And you could tell he's reciting. He says, the Q drop. The Q drop has dropped 5,000 messages since 2017. And you could tell he's memorized this spiel, and you see the Trump geek kind of come out in him right at that moment. But watching this clip really got me thinking. What if you guys said, okay, you watch my my videos, my YouTube channel. What if that was the only thing you watched? You just watched me. No other news, no other information. You just believed me and what I say. You know, and like I said, absolute power corrupts. Can you imagine what I could tell? You know, I could end up telling you guys anything. You know, I am the most handsome, most popular man I am the strongest man in the universe. Send me your money. You know, elect me president. That's all stuff I wouldn't want. But you see what I'm saying here. This guy, like I talk about when I go to do news clips in the morning, when I do these videos, I always like to look at both sides. I go to my app, Flip, I can't remember what it's called, and it's got all liberal stories on one side, conservative. I like reading everything, you know, and everything in between to get the facts. And this guy, people like this are just getting their news. He says he just gets his news from Q and from Trump and Q. And it's such an awkward clip. He reminds me of people that I went to high school with, these other Trumpers, and it got me thinking about this whole Trump thing. This whole weird thing that started in 2016 with Donald Trump and how that kind of started. And I started thinking about that some more. And I think it's because the first black man was elected president of the United States. And there was a lot of people, like I voted for Obama twice. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic that a black man became president during my lifetime. But there's a lot of people I think that were secretly, I think they were scared. I think there was people out there with racist feelings, and they were scared that, you know, that black people were going to turn on them. Really, I've actually heard people say that before. You know, like all of a sudden, you know, they're going to make us slaves because they're mad at us. Seriously. I've heard people I went to school with say stuff like that. And in 2016, Trump started feeding off that. You know, these people were just like quietly seething and scared during the Obama years. And then when Trump came, he started, you know, he just came at the right time, at the right place to feed into this racist feeling, this USA, let's go back to 1950s, where the white power male rules everything. And it just, you know, and it's still going on now. And I started thinking about that. Guys like this, what's going to happen in 2024? Okay, what if Trump wins? Guys like this are going to be all around Donald Trump. You know, I've actually seen these flags that say 2024, the Trump Revenge Tour. You know, there won't be any concentration on things like climate change, electric cars, or it's going to be all revenge. I saw Trump talking about showers again the other day and rainwater. I'll see if I can find that clip. And it scares the hell out of me that this guy's ever going to become president again. So what are the choices in 2024? That Donald Trump will actually become president, which I don't think will happen, or Joe Biden or somebody else will be reelected. And if that happens, what is Donald Trump going to say? He never admits that he loses ever in his life. He will never admit in 2024. If he loses, he will never admit it, because that'll just compound his shame, or his self-shame from 2020. You know, I would bet everything I have, that if he loses in 2024, it's just going to be he's going to start playing into it already, because he probably knows he's going to lose, and he's going to do that whole thing again, where, you know, he's going to say it's all rigged. And then people like this guy from this Ron Filipkowski clip, you know, they believe every word he says, you know, without any question. And it's going to be people like that are going to rise up again in 2024 and just, you know, and then they're going to think it's being stolen from them again. And I just have this fear of what's actually going to happen. Look what happened in 2020. And you know it's going to happen again in 2024. Trump hasn't changed. These people are seething and looking for revenge this whole time, with Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene looking to impeach Biden this whole time and everything. You know, it's going to explode. I think this whole thing is going to come to a boiling point. I hate to say that. I hate to scare you guys, but that's how I feel in 2024 with guys like from this clip just believing everything and anything Donald Trump says. Like Donald Trump said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and still, what do you say, still get elected or whatever. And that's the God's honest truth. And that's what scares me. And people believe this. It's an honest to God cult. It really is. All right, I got to get painting. I'm sorry, this video is kind of impromptu. I'll be back later today with another video. You guys have a great Tuesday.